Cheers, thanks Tim. It's good to be here this afternoon. You've obviously got some diverse listeners for Share Cafe, and we moved from energy to pharma, and now we're on to gold. So I'll be running you through our Koonenberry Gold Project, which, as you said, is in New South Wales. So couldn't ask for a better jurisdiction. And we're an early stage explorer in that terrain. So I'll give you an overview of that over the next 10 minutes or so. So next slide, please. So just our disclaimer there, everything I said is obviously, it's the nature of our business is forward-looking, so read that at your own leisure. But in terms of the corporate overview, the background on the company is that we IPO'd around about this time last year. So we're a relatively new company on the ASX, at least anyway. And we've got a fresh board in place with some great experience. Paul Harris there, he's recently joined us, and he's the chairman and associated with some much larger companies, and has joined for the same reason that I have. I joined only 6 months ago because I believe in the project, and I think it's one of the best early stage greenfields projects out there. You can see we've got a pretty healthy cash balance and not too many shares on issue. So if we do have success, things can move in the right direction pretty quickly. Next slide, please. This is where we are located. As you can see, about 160 kilometres north-northeast of Broken Hill. It's accessible mostly via bitumised roads, except for the last 40 kilometres or so. And you can see in the little diagram there on the right-hand side that the reason why we've chosen the Koonenberry Belt is because we believe it's an extension of the Stawell zone in Western Victoria, which hosts the Stawell gold mine, which is a 5 million ounce gold deposit. So we see very similar geology in the Koonenberry as to what's very well known in Western Victoria. The difference is that between the two zones, you have the Murray-Darling Basin, which is obviously full of water at the moment. And then on the when that pops out on the other side, you have the Koonenberry Belt, where we have a large strategic land package. We're one of the first movers within the Koonenberry Belt, and we have over 1,300 kilometres of granted tenure. We have another 700 kilometres or square kilometres under application. I guess we should also point out that we have very strong community support in the area, and there is no native title, but we deal almost exclusively with station owners, and it's important that we're exploring on their home, and we have a very strong relationship with them, which enables us to get on the ground and do the work that needs to be done. And we have a lot of projects lined up, which I'll show you over the course of the next 7 minutes or so. I guess the other thing with this slide is that we're not the only ones that think this area is really attractive. Some other smarter people than me perhaps have pegged huge areas. So S2 Resources and AIC Mines, for example, have pegged enormous tracts of land because they can see that this is a very, very underexplored part of Australia. Next slide, please. So this is our project pipeline. You can see the distribution of the projects there on the geological map on the right-hand side, and the various exploration targets that we have that are in various stages of advancement. And one of the things that attracted Koonenberry and other explorers to this region is there is a very extensive gold nugget field on surface, which covers over 200 square kilometres. So there's a saying in the industry that where there's smoke, there's often fire. So we've certainly got a lot of smoke here in terms of the gold nuggets and the gold in soil anomalies, which we have over 34 kilometres of strike length of gold in soil anomalies that are yet to be drill tested. And I'll show you one of these on the next slide. So this is our Lucky Sevens prospect, where we've actually just completed our first RC drilling campaign. You can see there in the top right-hand corner, lines A and B are the two drill lines where we drilled approximately 2,200 metres of drilling. And this is an area where firstly, it's never been drill tested in that part of the anomaly, which is 4 kilometres long. And secondly, we believe it's the best part of the anomaly because it's the thickest gold in soil anomaly, and we believe that may be reflecting the structural control on the mineralisation, where we get the most extension and the most potential for vein development. We have had high-grade results here at this prospect in the past, both in the north and the south, where we had 5 metres at 25 grams per tonne in a RAB hole and 25 centimetres at 20 grams per tonne in a costine. So that suggests that the system is very much real, and there is good potential for high-grade mineralisation. And the bottom right-hand corner is a resistivity image of line A, where we think that instead of just being one outcropping vein on surface that can be seen on surface, there are multiple stacked veins that are not outcropping, that are at depth, that have a resistive signature. And if those people out there that have been following us, you would have seen our completion of Lucky Sevens announcement, where we've intersected significant quartz veining that does look to have continuity between drill holes. So that's really quite exciting, and it's now we're just waiting for the samples to go through the lab and to receive the assays. So it's an exciting time for the company. And next slide. Thanks. The next slide shows our Atlantis prospect, which is to the southwest of Lucky Sevens and closer to the Koonenberry Fold itself. And we believe this is an analogue for the Stawell gold mine in Western Victoria. And there's lots of reasons for that. We see a very similar geological setting, both in terms of the structure and the geology. So at the Stawell gold mine, there's a lot of thrust faulting and cross faulting, and we think that we have a lot of thrust faulting and cross faulting as well. And you can see there in the insert in the bottom right-hand corner that's a map view of the Stawell gold mine. And one of the main controls there is the anticline or the doubly plunging basalt domes. And in the top right-hand insert is our Atlantis prospect on the magnetics, and we've interpreted the magnetics there to be a doubly plunging mafic unit, which as I've said is key to the mineralisation at Stawell. Some of the other things that contribute to our interest in this prospect are we have a 6.5 kilometre long gold in soil anomaly that is also has coincident copper and arsenic, which is super impressive. And this prospect has never ever been drill tested. There's never seen a RAB hole or an RC hole or a diamond hole or anything. So we're really, really excited about this prospect, and we're looking forward to getting in there and drilling that over the next couple of months. And next slide, please. So the next couple of slides actually are more examples of the prospectivity of the project. And this is the Four Queens prospect, which is another 4.5 kilometre gold in soil anomaly. It's also associated with arsenic, which is a pathfinder element that's well known about in orogenic gold systems and in Victoria. And at this prospect, we've had a lag sample that had almost 14 grams of gold in it. So there, again, this is another example of the potential for high-grade gold. And we really don't know a lot about this prospect. There's not a lot of outcrop. as I said, it's an extensive gold in soil anomaly, and the important takeaway here is it's another prospect of ours that's never seen a drill rig at all. So it's really quite exciting. And again, this is in our sights for drill testing in the future. And next slide, please. And this is for the Vegas prospect, which moves to the northwest. And again, it's similar to Four Queens in that it's a large multi-kilometre scale of gold in soil anomaly. You can see there in the photo in the bottom, there is extensive quartz scree at this prospect. But again, it's never been drill tested. So it's just one of these ones that we just have to get out there with the drill rig and see what we can find. It's another exciting prospect, and it's quite remarkable to think that in this day and age in Australia, with so much exploration going on, that we have these prospects, as I said before, over 34 kilometres of strike length of gold and soil anomalies, for the most part have never been drill tested. Next slide, please. So this slide sort of looks at the bigger picture, and you can see our project there in the bottom image. The photos along the top show you the different types of gold settings that we can see. So you can see we've got gold in quartz veins outcropping at surface, and we've got gold nuggets being distributed across the project. And we also have a paleoplacer that's formed at the bottom of the Mesozoic, in the conglomerates at the bottom of the Mesozoic. So the orogenic gold system was exposed in the Mesozoic, so 65 million years ago, and it was being eroded into the basal conglomerate unit. And now we have the quartz veins themselves and the Mesozoic paleoplacer, which are dropping out gold, and that's why we're seeing an extensive nugget field. Now, the other thing about this image, and it's a magnetic image on the background, so we can see that each of our prospect areas is associated with second-order splays off the main Koonenberry fault, and that's important in a structural context. But we can also trace those same structures in the magnetics underneath the Mesozoic cover. So we've identified this as a exploration concept which has never been drill tested at all, and we've picked up some ground to the south and to the east of our project area to give us some insurance for the years down the track. So if we find a deposit at Atlantis or Lucky Sevens or one of these other prospect areas, then there is enormous potential to find multiple deposits like a string of pearls along these structures that go undercover. And next slide, please. This is just a summary slide showing you basically the proposition for investing within Koonenberry. And as I've said multiple times, there's abundant evidence for gold mineralisation. Where there's smoke in the gold industry, there is often fire. It's just a matter of time, I believe, in terms of drill testing our pipeline of targets, and then watching this space for the results that are awaiting from Lucky Sevens, and for the drilling that we have planned within the coming months. Thanks, Tim.